Brad, Gary Washington, Boston Globe. Can you capsule the disappointment of this game and kind of the season? It just didn't seem to work out as if anyone expected.
Well, I think that obviously we've rehashed the season enough. It was clearly ups and downs, and as we navigated to find our way as a team and to play our best basketball as a team, there were a couple teams out there that were really building towards something. And sometimes I think that goes unnoticed, but this game was disappointing. I thought we missed a ton of opportunities in the first half to make it closer than 13 at halftime. And then I thought we had started off just kind of chipping away at the start of the second half, and then there were multiple possessions there where they got to loose balls and those types of things at some point later in the third quarter. But before that, Gary, I think obviously our issues have been well chronicled, and hats off to them. They are one hell of a basketball team. And what I just talked about and they've been building habits every day, and those habits showed up, and they showed up over and over again. And, we make a teaching tape every year for our teams about different things, closeouts, recovering, flying around. The Bucks are going to be on a lot of clips. I mean, they were tremendous. And credit them, credit their coaches, credit their players. They're better than we are. And they earned that. And it was clear throughout a 5-game series.
Mark Murphy, Boston Herald. Brad, I know you've been focused on anything but this, but has it occurred to you at all how much this team might change from this point going forward?
Yeah, I mean, you don't really think about it. I mean, Mark, we all can pay attention to all the talk and everything else, but you don't really think about it until it's over. And that's not really my lane. I'm certainly consulted on it, but I understand, that we didn't meet the outside expectations, and we really rode a roller coaster a lot of the year, and it was difficult, but. I do think I told the guys in there, I did think they showed a lot of character at a lot of different times to keep coming back and to stay together. And I've said from the get-go, this team in the locker room when they're all together is great. We just couldn't find it playing together as well as we had hoped.
Coach back left, Mark D'Amico, Celtics.com. When you look at the offensive woes that you guys went through tonight, do you compare that or see that as comparable to Game 7 of last year's Eastern Conference Finals?
Not comparable.
Why not?
That was a defensive dogfight both ways. It was 87-79. No, I did not feel the same way. Although I thought we were guarding great in the first half. Again, we went into middle of the second and they have 29 points or whatever it is. Like, you feel really good about the way you're doing things, and then as more shots get missed, as we turned it over, as we made mistakes at the rim and they flew out on us. At that point, they just kept hammering at the rock until it cracked, and we cracked.
Brad, Gary Washington again. Brad, what did your team lack? I mean, the Bucks, obviously, you said they're better than you.
Yeah.
What did you lack this year, and how helpless of a feeling does it seem to be for you where you couldn't put it together? Regardless of what you try to do.
There's all kinds of different things that I think we can get better at, Gary. I don't want to pinpoint one. We'll get the whole summer to rehash that. I do think when you get into this series, like the points at the rim that they got and the points at the rim that they didn't give up they just stand out like a sore thumb. You're fighting and scratching and clawing for every look, and they protected the rim and the paint much better than we did, and flew around shooters much better than we did. Again, I can't say enough good things about the Bucks. Coach Bud, they all deserve incredible amount of credit.
Coach John Corrales, MassLive.com. One of the hallmarks of your teams going back to the beginning has been the fights and the good habits that you're talking about. This season was really not much of that. what was different about this
Yeah.
team?
I mean, that's probably the part that eats at me the most, right? 12 years, I've been a head coach for 12 years, and you know, we let go of the rope more and cracked more than we probably should have, and we need to be better than that. But the team that doesn't crack usually wins, and these guys just kept again pounding at us. So I'll be the first to say that this is, you know, as far as any other year that I've been a head coach, it's certainly been the most trying. I think I did a bad job. Like, at the end of the day, like, as a coach, if your team doesn't find its best fit together, that's on you. And so I'll do a lot of deep dives into how I can be better.
Coach Vince Goodwill, Yahoo Sports. When you talk about some of the outside things about the future, you said it didn't affect you. Do you think it affected guys on the inside longer, or maybe more than it should have?
Well, I don't want to speculate for individuals, Vince, but there's no question. I mean, they have TVs, they have phones, they hear everything, and to be quite candid, like, when you live in it, you do your best to kind of just block out the noise and do your best to focus on what you can control. But these guys are also young men, and there's a lot of pressure to live up to all these expectations, to put on a cape, to do all those things, and that's hard to do. And so I always say this about, and I always kind of reference Jason and Jalen. I mean, I can't imagine handling what they have to handle at 20 and 22. Like, I can't fathom it. I would have cracked long ago, right? So I've been given the time to grow up and be 42 now. Those guys have done a really good job of just kind of staying the course and trying to become the best they can be. The other thing I told the team, Vince, in there was, all this stuff that we've been through, they'll all be better because of it. It didn't show itself on this stage by any means. They'll all be better because of it, because we learned a lot. Thank you.
Y'all know who I am. I'm not who I used to be. I know it wasn't in my plans, but it panned out and it's cool to me. Spent all my time trying to be the man, but didn't want to grow like Peter Pan. Once upon a time I was doing bad, now I'm on something new, hope you understand. Sitting on top undefeated, any obstacle I'ma beat it. Any opposition I'ma beat them. Victory is all I see, cause losing is never an option, it's never an option, no. I see you over there plotting, you think you gon' prosper, no.
I refuse to lose, I'm born to win. I refuse to lose, I'm going in. I refuse to lose, I'm born to win. I refuse to lose, I'm going in.
Sick of losing, I was born to win. A new man like I'm born again. This time around, man, I'm going in. They gave me the ball, I'm not losing it. You devils can take all these L's back. Moving forward, never looking back. Refuse to take any more losses. No misfortunes, just endorsements. Operate at peak performance. Squad behind me, reinforcements. All I think about is scoring. Hear 'em roaring, crowd applauding. Cause losing is never an option. It's never.
I'd just like to start by giving a lot of credit to the Boston Celtics, their players, Brad Stevens. Just so much respect for them and everything they do. They test you in a lot of ways, and we feel very fortunate. And for our team, just we talk about defense, every day, every film session, and I just think that the way we guarded, the way we covered for each other, the commitment that was on the defensive end just sets the tone for us. And, to have everybody contribute offensively, for Giannis to, trust the pass and trust his teammates, and everybody to, just very much play together on the defensive and offensive end together, to do everything together. Now we got to take a couple days and start getting ready for whoever it is that's next, and keep the same focus, keep the same hunger, and that's it.
Your microphones, if you could just state your name and affiliation, please. Go ahead, Jack.
Jack Money, CBS Sports. Coach, you had that possession late in the third quarter where you grabbed 4 or 5 offensive rebounds. Did you feel that just kind of like summed up everything about your team this season? You guys didn't even really score on it, but just kind of that effort overwhelming teams.
Yeah, no, I thought the activity, and it's an unusual place for us to, get 3-4 offensive rebounds in a possession, but I think it does speak to just how the guys were, they're just laying out on the line and doing everything they can to, keep and maintain a lead and, build on it. Just the competitive spirit of the group was impressive, not just that possession, but the whole night.
Coach Chris Berry with NBC 26. Last year, if you look at this series, Giannis is around that 40-minute mark, right? And people were saying, was he overworked? Was it such a workhorse? This year, shaved off about 10 minutes of that. Obviously, a testament to what the whole team has been able to accomplish. But can you just touch on how that's helped keep him fresh and how that's helped prepare him, not just for this series, but for the long haul here?
Oh, it's certainly something that we put a lot of time and thought into, and I think the development of all of our players, the confidence of everybody for us to be able to play and, in some cases thrive. The fourth game, to have Giannis and Chris on the bench and us extend the lead, has allowed us to keep Giannis's minutes down. It's been a year-long focus, and, certainly you want to have him fresh and available for as many minutes as you need come playoff time. And a couple games in this series, we rode him pretty hard, but there were others where his teammates stepped up and just the whole group. And it's like what we said. We do everything together. Giannis is incredibly important to us, but I think it's great that everybody feels like they're a huge part of it also.
Ben Steele, Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. 17 minutes for Malcolm tonight. Was that about what you wanted out of him? And also, how did he look to you?
He actually played more than we anticipated, more than we planned. He felt good. He was green light as far as, him wanting to play more and the medical agreeing that he could play more. As far as how he played, I thought he was very good. That is incredibly difficult to come off of I think it was right at 6 weeks or, give or take a little bit, to come in and play in a playoff game and to contribute in a positive way. It just speaks to his work ethic, it speaks to his professionalism, his toughness. Adding Malcolm Brogdon to our group is something that's really exciting for us.
John Corrales, Mass Live. This series turned when you guys started switching. What did you know about the Celtics style of play that made you think the switching would work?
Well, it's certainly, we have a lot of guys that can guard and can defend different types of players, and so it's not something we've done a lot. I don't think we did it probably quite as much as everybody thinks, but we did a significant amount. But I thought the players balanced out, not switching all the time, fighting through screens, getting back to their own with some switching. So there's just, again, and the activity behind the switches to me was the key. We were active, trying to get guys off the three-point line. Everybody behind was scrambling and covering for each other. And but it's just, I think individual defensive talent just gives you hope you can try different things.
Andrew Wagner, Forbes Sports. You talked a little in your opening statement about good defense tonight, and we've asked you all season about your philosophy and let it fly, but you've stressed every time offense and defense, and tonight seemed kind of like an example. When the shots aren't falling, sticking with it on defense allowed you guys to have good things further down the road. Was that kind of what you wanted to see and what you've been talking about from defensive attitude all year?
Yeah, no, I mean, we would hope that our identity is a defensive team. We want to be great on that end. We want to be committed on the defensive end, and obviously to exceed or succeed in this league, you got to be good on both ends. But what we work on the most, what we talk about the most, is our defense, and I think the team has embraced that. I think it's, on a night like that tonight where maybe you're not shooting it that great, you hold a team to, I think, 25% at half and maybe 31% or something for the game. When you have defense like that, you give yourself a great chance.
Eric named The Athletic, but I think the week heading into the series, we talked about Brook and whether or not he'd get played off the floor, and that was kind of the conversation that we had. I know you shared a little moment with him after the game, and this was probably the worst game that he had in the series, but just how big was he for you in this series, and I guess just kind of what did that say about him and what he's been able to do this year?
Yeah, no, Brooke is incredibly important to us, and I think defensively, some of the things he was able to do, and we've talked some about him being on some smaller guys and being able to move his feet, and then when he's in the paint and protecting the rim, all the things he does for us defensively, just it continues to stand out and be a huge positive. And he had a lot of great looks tonight. He makes a couple of those, and I thought there were other guys that also had some good looks, and maybe we could have buried them earlier and gotten more separation early. But Brooke is, he's been phenomenal for us all year, and I think maybe people don't appreciate, even in this series and even tonight, all the things that he did for us.
Howie Magner, Milwaukee Magazine. Given the success that you had during the season and that you've had up to this point, why do you think people are so quick to still underestimate this team?
I don't give any thought to those people.
But just looking at the way, and you already talked about the defense a whole bunch, just the way that the guys were able to kind of find different ways to contribute and keep up that intensity. Just how much of those habits, and how much as a coach does it kind of give you like kind of excitement about them keeping up those habits and building on them over time?
Yeah, no, habits is a word we use a lot, and, building our defensive habits and building winning habits, and to see it, play out, especially on the defensive end of the court. It's why we come to work every day, and but the players are the ones that got to do it. They've got to commit to it, and I thought their commitment and their togetherness on that end of the court, it leads to good habits, and certainly pleased with it, and we need it going forward.
Coach Doug Russell with WTMJ, kind of ping-ponging off of Eric's question about Brooke. He obviously struggled a little bit tonight. Is that just one of those, look, shooters are just going to have nights like that, and you just kind of turn the page and, next game is the next game?
100%. Yeah, I loved every one of Brooks' shots. He's done it all year for us. I have, reflection of him hitting big shots in Boston just a couple days ago, and he's such a threat, and the whole league knows it. And, he gets going, and then it really changes things for us. So love Giannis finding him, love Bled finding him, everybody finding him, and he's going to keep letting it fly.
Good evening, Coach. Chuck Quirnbach of Milwaukee Public Radio. Your message to the fans, especially the ones that are just sort of tuning into basketball at this point, what's your message to the Milwaukee fans that haven't had a winner in a long time?
Well, it's very exciting for the fans in Milwaukee, organizationally, for us to be doing what we're doing. It's just, I've said it from the day I arrived. I feel like I jumped on the ship at the perfect time. The fans have been incredibly supportive of the team, every player, the coaching staff. The energy in our building's phenomenal. Hopefully it's just going to keep getting better and better. And, I couldn't be more appreciative of, our front office, the team they put together, the moves they made in season, adding George Hill and Niko Mirotic to a really good team already. Just incredibly fortunate, and I think the fans are enjoying it, and I'm doing my best to enjoy it too.
Kane Pittman with a pick and roll, Bud. Just after game one, that was your biggest loss for the season, and you guys have responded so well after losses. But what did you see from the group, I guess, directly after that game, and then the next day? I know we spoke a lot about the video session that you had, but, obviously the response was pretty good.
Yeah, no, I just think, the competitiveness, the physicality, the activity that you need, especially playing a great team like Boston, we didn't have it in the first game. I think Boston played well. We didn't play well, and we didn't do the things you need to do, to play against a really good team. And so the biggest thing between game 1 and 2 had nothing to do with any coverage or any scheme. It's just we needed to compete. And when we compete, we're at our best. And you sprinkle in whatever you need to do offensively and defensively, it's a little overrated. But, our activity and our competitive spirit is what made the difference after game 1. All right, thanks.
Kyrie, John Corrales, MassLive.com. Obviously, this didn't go the way you wanted to, and it may be very early for this, but can you reflect on this season? This is the season you said you asked for. This is the moment you said you asked for. What are your thoughts right now in the immediate aftermath?
Just a lot of lessons to take from this season, from day one at training camp all the way till now. It just felt like a rush. Try to enjoy as many moments as I could. It really comes down to great team basketball, who's playing better at, a certain time of the year, and the connectivity and the able to respond. And, they showed all year why they were who they were. And, they were very dominating in this series after game one. They played hard. They did unbelievable things with their rotations, and Mike put them in some great positions to be successful, as well as guys coming in off the bench playing well, playing steady. You got Ersan and George, and they're just leading that second unit. And I think Giannis and Chris did a great job of leading their group, as well as Ebled coming in and filling in where he could as well. I think collectively as a group, they really outplayed us as a group. And I give credit to them because they came after game one, getting punched in the mouth, and they responded the way a team that deserves to win should.
Kyrie, Gary Washer, Boston Globe. 2 questions. One, how disappointing is this? You guys were picked to go to the finals, or you wanted to do great things with this team and this organization, and how disappointed are you? And 2, what will you do for the next 6-7 weeks before you have a big decision to make? And is Boston a place that you would consider coming back?
I mean, truth be told, it's no time to be disappointed. I think that, you take your lessons, you take your ass whooping that they handed us, and you move on. It's a basketball journey. Obviously, you want to keep playing, but they put a halt to that, and they deserve this series. They played like they wanted it, and I'm looking forward to seeing them going in the Eastern Conference Finals and playing their next opponent. It was a great opponent for me to play against for the rest of my career, because I know I won't forget something like this. And the taste of feeling defeat in this type of style, being down 1-4, I haven't felt. So for me, it's just moving on to the next thing, and just seeing where that ends up.
Adam Himmelsbach with the Boston Globe. When you kind of look forward to this summer, just in general, what kind of things are you looking for, I guess, in your life, and what kind of things, situations would be a positive situation that you want to be in when you?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm just trying to make it back to Boston first, safely. Get to see my family, decompress, do what human beings do.
Kyrie, Andrew Wagner, Forbes Sports. So much gets made of Milwaukee's offensive abilities, but what was their defense like that kind of got different from the regular season to game one to over the last few games?
Well, they kept a body on me practically the whole game. And then they put us in some rotations offensively and defensively. Did a great job of running their offense with pace, making us think out there. And I think that's where one of the important lessons I'm going to take from this is just how smart, our team has to be in order to be at that next level. And they did it all year. I mean, they stayed consistent. They stayed steady. They stayed relatively healthy. And like I said, I give credit when credit is due. Giannis is an unbelievable player. He's been doing unbelievable things this year, as well as Chris. And they feeling very well. They're a great, well-run team. So, I'm glad that we got to feel this in the eyes of looking at a great team like that.
Kyrie, Michelle Steele, ESPN, you mentioned at the top that you took some lessons away from this playoff series. What were they? What's a lesson that sticks out to you from this series?
Just the patience out there on the floor, just the pace, and being very communicative. Those are the main things.
And can I have a follow-up really quickly? Plenty of people here are speculating about your future, and certainly this summer. Did uncertainty over that weigh on you in any way in this series?
No.
Yeah, yeah. Real love, something I've been trying to find. Where you been? Got here just in time. I think there's something I've been waiting for. I've been asking if it's something that I'm ready for. I was out looking for love in a trash can. I always thought there was nobody out there. Then I found you and you put me in the zone. When I'm with you, I feel like I be in my zone. When I'm sleeping, love is all I can dream of. When you leave me, baby, it's all that I can think of. Can't nothing come in between us but the road. I can't help it that we connected at the soul. Show me how to love, how you do that. It's my heart, better watch the way you shoot it. When I'm with you, I feel like I be in the zone. When I'm with you, I feel like I be in my zone. When I'm with you, I feel like I be in my zone. When I'm with you, I feel like I be in my zone. This time last year, used to hate love. Been through so much, almost gave up. Every time I felt like it was something missing. Then I met you, then you showed me something different. Heart on lockdown, but let no one in. I was shutting people down before they even begin. Can't imagine me living my life without you. Had to sit down and write me a song about you. Lost my mind to describe what it feel like. If a bird lost a wing, but it still flies. You the one, help me realize. Love really do exist in the real life. Love really do exist in the real life. Real life, real life. When I'm sleeping, love is all I can dream of. When you leave me, baby, it's all that I can think of. Can't nothing come in between us but the road. I can't help it that we connected at the soul. Show me how to love, how you do that. It's my heart, better watch the way you shoot it. When I'm with you, I feel like I be in the zone. When I'm with you, I feel like I be in my zone. When I'm with you, I feel like I be in my zone. When I'm with you, I feel like I be in my zone.
Y'all know who I am. I'm not who I used to be. I know it wasn't in my plans, but it panned out and it's cool to me. Spent all my time trying to be the man, but didn't want to grow like Peter Pan. Once upon a time I was doing bad, now I'm on something new, hope you understand. Sitting on top undefeated, any obstacle I'ma beat it. Any opposition I'ma beat them. Victory is all I see in. Cause losing is never an option, it's never an option, no. I see you over there plotting, you think you gon' prosper, no.
I refuse to lose, I'm born to win. I refuse to lose, I'm going in. I refuse to lose, I'm born to win. I refuse to lose, I'm going in.
Sick of losing, I was born to win. A new man like I'm born again. This time around, man, I'm going in. They gave me the ball, I'm not losing it. You devils can take all these L's back. Moving forward, never looking back. Refuse to take any more losses. No misfortunes, just endorsements. Operate at peak performance. Squad behind me, reinforcements. All I think about is scoring. Hear 'em roaring, crowd applauding. Cause losing is never an option, it's never an option, no. I see you over there plotting, you think you gon' prosper, no.
I refuse to lose, I'm born to win. I refuse to lose, I'm going in. I refuse to lose, I'm born to win. I refuse to lose, I'm going in.
Ball hard on the court, boy. Ball hard on the court. Switch it up, pass, cross 'em up, fast. Ball hard on the court, boy. Ball hard on the court. Switch it up, pass, cross 'em up, fast. MJ with the ball, temp fade. Been made since the old days, so paid. LJ call him King James. 6 rings, ball hard in the paint, thanks. What a gratitude, young black man with an attitude. So focused, you probably think that I'm mad at you. Gotta get that check on the sex, like flex, make the girl say yes. What you mean? I just put some magic on the dream. Clean, do it for the team, Billie Jean. Sammy saying tall like y'all mean. Crowd scene, thanks for the doubting. Ball hard on the court, boy. Ball hard on the court. Switch it up, pass, cross 'em up, fast. Ball hard on the court, boy. Ball hard on the court. Switch it up, pass, cross 'em up, fast. Lightning, I move smooth as Tai Chi. Never gave two what if they like me. Entice D, bet I bubble like Sprite B. And when it comes to the feet, it's not likely. Street cred, plus I run the court 6 legs. Y'all just creep, no 6 leg. Paint a picture for your head, top ball till I'm dead drop. Shoot threes from the grave, no the game don't stop. Coach put me in, no I can't just watch. No, bitch warmers or ball hoarders in my corner. My legacy lives on like a heart donor. Transplant, I ain't talking about your hairline. If it's J's on my feet, then it's airtime. Snatch on words for weapons, well let me add mine. Chop it sound, drop it down, bear climb, gone. Ball hard on the court, boy. Ball hard on the court. Switch it up, pass, cross 'em up, fast. Ball hard on the court, boy. Ball hard on the court. Switch it up, pass, cross 'em up, fast.
Yeah. Real love, something I've been trying to find. Where you been? Got here just in time. I think there's something I've been waiting for. I've been asking if it's something I'm ready for. I was out looking for love in a trash can. I always thought there was nobody out there. Then I found you and you put me in the zone. When I'm with you, I feel like I be in my zone. When I'm sleeping, love is all I can dream of. When you leave me, baby, it's all that I can think of. Can't nothing come in between us but the road. I can't help it that we connected at the soul. Show me how to love, how you do that. This my heart, better watch the way you shoot it. When I'm with you, I feel like I be in the zone. When I'm with you, feel like I be in my zone. When I'm with you, I feel like I be in my zone. When I'm with you, I feel like I be in my zone. This time last year, used to hate love. Been through so much, almost gave up. Every time I felt like it was something missing. Then I met you, then you showed me something different. Heart on lockdown, but letting no one in. I was shutting people down before they even begin. Can't imagine me living my life without you. Had to sit down and write me a song about you. Lost my mind to describe what it feel like. If a bird lost its wing, but it still flies. You the one, help me realize. Love really do exist in the real life. Love really do exist in the real life. Real life, real life. When I'm sleeping, love is all I can dream of. When you leave me, baby, it's all that I can think of. Can't nothing come in between us but the road. I can't help it if we connected at the
Hey guys, Greg Matzek, WTMJ. Chris, just being in the locker room after the game, music's going a little bit, but it still felt pretty businesslike. How much do you get to enjoy this? How much will you enjoy it before looking ahead to whatever lies ahead?
I mean, I think we should definitely enjoy it for tonight. It's a big moment for our franchise, our city, ourselves. But at the same time, our season's still going. We still got a lot of work to do. We're going to be facing a good team, whoever it is, that next round. So, enjoy it tonight, maybe a little bit tomorrow, but start getting ready for that next series.
Matt Velasquez, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Does Giannis, or what does that mean? This is the first time in 18 years that the Bucks have clinched a playoff series in Milwaukee, just the second time in 32 years. Just what does it mean to be able to do that in front of the home crowd?
It means a lot. We were working all year. We were creating all year good habits so we can be in this position right now. And to be able to play good basketball, and in the end of the season. And, the energy in the arena tonight was unbelievable, was crazy. And it feels good. We're happy that we were able to clinch here in Milwaukee. We're happy that we are going to the third round, and we're happy that the people are into it. I don't think I've ever seen people of Milwaukee being so excited about basketball, about the team. So I love that. At the end of the day, we're playing for ourselves and for the team, but having the whole city supporting us it's amazing.
Eric Name, The Athletic, bled just after last season, your playoff series. Just how good does this feel for you to have another win, another playoff series victory?
Oh, that feels good. But at the same time, I know that feeling going home, you're not playing your best the way you want to play, getting put out. This group came a long way, since my first year here. We, playing for each other, playing for the city of Milwaukee franchise, and we having fun.
Nicole Yang with the Boston Globe. Eric, that possession at the end of the third quarter where you guys had 4 offensive rebounds, did you feel that stretch was indicative of the good habits that you've been building all year long? What did you make of that?
It was tired. We kept fighting for rebounds, but we couldn't get a shot to fall. But at the same time, we at home. There's a momentum swing. Even though we weren't scoring, our crowd was in it. So it definitely was tiring.
Steve Ashburn, NBA.com. Giannis, given the regard that people had for Boston this season, what they did last year, getting to the conference finals, their roster, everything about that team, are you guys surprised at all that this ended up a short series?
I was surprised. Of course, we got to give credit to Boston, a great basketball team, to play hard every minute in the game. But at the end of the day, I think we played good basketball. After the first game that we played at home, the next 4 games we were playing good basketball, and as long as we defend well, we move the ball offensively, we had the chance to finish the the series in 5. And the most important thing and the great thing about this team is that after game 1, I got a text from this guy, Bledsoe, saying that we got these guys and we're gonna come out and we're gonna win games. And that's what happened. When your teammates are all on the same page and you have their back, they have your back. Things like this gonna happen, and we're able to get 4 wins in a row. It was amazing.
For either of you, Andrew Wagner, Forbes Sports, for either of you gentlemen or your manager, we've talked so much about your offense this year, and today especially kind of lived up to what Bud has said about defense is going to win, defense is our identity. Your defense kind of kept you in when shots weren't falling, and just if you guys could address just your commitment to defensive effort, especially tonight, but in this whole series.
It's huge, man. Like you said, defense is our identity. That's the way we can get to playing our game. We get stops, that mean we can get fast breaks. And I know everybody on this team like fast break layups, so we get stops, get out in a fast break, and share the ball. That's how we play.
Gabe Stoltz, BrewHoop.com. Giannis, you mentioned the crowd, right? You mentioned the crowd and I guess this goes to Chris too. But when you hear the crowd as the clock's ticking down and you realize you're going to the Eastern Conference Finals, do you think back to that 2013 season and just reflect on how far things have come, or is that anything have you done that at all during this playoff run?
Yeah, I think I've done it. Obviously thinking about the past and thinking about the pain that you went through in the past, that motivates you, to keep moving forward and keep doing better things in the future. But at the end of the day, we're, as Chris said, we're happy about it. We can be happy all night about it, but we still got a great team, Philly or Toronto, that we're going to face. So we got to stay locked in and be ready to go and face whoever we face.
Gentlemen, Kirill Quaterman from Soviet Sport, Match TV in Russia. Just a quick question about this series. What was it about Boston's game, or maybe your game, that made this series shorter than what a lot of NBA analysts predicted?
Can you repeat the question?
Just wondering, what was it about your game, or maybe what was it about Boston's game that made this series shorter than what a lot of analysts predicted?
We know how great of a team Boston is, so we just tried to focus on us and what we've been doing all season. Bud met with us the first playoff series and told us that no matter how people say the playoffs are, that don't mean we have to change the way we play. And we came out, each and every game, focused on us and what we need to do to, win each and every game.
Howie Magner with Milwaukee Magazine. Chris, given all the success that you guys have had this season, why do you think people are still so quick to underestimate this team?
I would say mainly because we just haven't been here before yet. Simple as that. The last couple of years, we've only been in the first round, can get out of it. So, they can say what they want to say. We're going to believe what we want to believe, and that's in ourselves. So, that's it.
Kane Pittman with the pick and roll. Giannis, after that game 1, obviously the worst loss you've had all season, we heard about the video session you had that was pretty critical in your energy and effort and that sort of stuff. But for you and this team, I guess through the whole year, how have you been able to build that trust and confidence in each other that you can say whatever you want to each other, be critical, and everyone's going to take it the right way, and you've responded so well after losses?
I think, after we don't play well and we lose games, we just look each other in the face and we just face the reality. And whoever don't play well or whoever didn't put a lot of effort, we're going to tell him. And it starts from Coach Bud. He's going to tell you right in your face, you got to play harder. And, when the coach does that and really believes in you, you're going to come next game and you're going to try to, play harder. And that's what we've been doing the whole season. That's why we've been able to respond after losses during the regular season. And that's why we responded, after game 1. And at the end of the day, it's the habits you build. You know, if you build bad habits during the regular season, that's what you're gonna carry over. I think we were able to build good habits, so that's why we were able to respond.
Charles Gardner with AP. And Giannis, I was talking to George Hill, and he said there were a number of speeches before the game, and you gave one. And, you know, what were your words to the team, and did the other players who spoke motivate you as well?
Man, you're putting me in the tough spot right now. I don't know if I should say, you know, what we talk about in the team huddle. So I'll, you know what, I'll just keep that for ourselves. But at the end of the day, I think we got great guys, great leaders in this team. That everybody has a great speech, and you know, there's some guys that have been there before. So like George Hill, so he's one of the guys that definitely leads the, you know, the huddle and motivates us the right way. You know.
Giannis, just going off the question from before, you guys had the best record in the league, you guys had the best defense in the league, and still there were people who underestimated you guys going into this series. Do you think that this series ends that you guys won't be underestimated anymore?
No, I don't think so. I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to doubt us, and that's the world of basketball, you know, and that's the world of media. No disrespect. There's going to be people that they're going to be with us, and there's going to be people that are going to be against us and don't believe in us. But at the end of the day, we realize that we've never been there before, but we're really, really hungry to, you know, achieve our goals, and that's all I can care about. As long as we go out there and play hard, and we really don't care about what anybody has to say. I just care about what my teammates say, what Chris, EB, the rest of the team, and Coach Bad says. That's all I care about.
Eric Name, The Athletic. Giannis, before the game, not after the game, Brad Stevens said that every possession against the Bucks, you have to play hard. They make you earn every possession. Would it be possible for a coach, players, to give you guys a greater compliment than that?
I think that's a great compliment. Coming from Brad Stevens, really, really smart coach, one of the best coaches in this league, saying that our team plays hard and they got to play harder than us to earn everything they get. That's really good, and that's what we want to keep doing moving forward.
Good job, guys.